The rest of this fight was just spectacular in every sense of the word. And Hisoka, man, I have this love-hate sort of admiration, respect for the guy. Hunter x Hunter, episode 36, A Big Debt and a Small Kick. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters, and now, finally, hunters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, intricately woven, and just cleverly thought out, plotted, and detailed, especially in the sense of the fights, tale of Hunter x Hunter. Now, our last episode, of course, saw us with a lot of the build-up going towards this fight between Hisoka and Gon, which I personally have been waiting for 20 episodes now, ever since Phase 4 of the Hunter exam. And it didn't disappoint. Obviously, at the end of it, or very near the end, Gon was able to really just be able to jack Hisoka right in the face. I mean, it was done very well. It was done in a very clever way. It wasn't cheap what he did. And for just a split second, you saw Hisoka kind of hesitate and almost be nervous. You know, it seemed like, I don't think he was ever scared of losing, but he was like, what? Where is he? And he's normally very level-headed and in control of his weird sort of orgasmic fighting style. Nonetheless, though, that's how the episode left off with, Gon, landing a hit on him, the referee saying it was a critical hit, and Gon's up 2 points to 1. So that's how the episode left off, and that's right where it picks up, and the majority of this episode is the remainder of their fight. And I never expected Gon to really win against Hisoka, but I think this was really his growth and maturity. It was showing how far he's come over the last, 5 or 6 months or whatever since Hisoka and him first met in the Hunter exam. And it's really kind of neat to see Hisoka as like this, he's this bad guy, but he's not just pure evil. He obviously gets off on the whole, fight between him and Gon, and he really enjoys just kind of toying with him and seeing him grow too. And what winds up happening is he actually explains to Gon, they wind up exchanging some blows and what have you over here, and mostly it's that Hisoka starts kind of beating him around as far as hitting him this way, hitting him that way, and really just shows Gon that, hey, listen, now I'm actually going to move and I'm going to come at you. But he does this cool analysis thing on him about the whole techniques. You know how Wing did with the cup of water, and that's how you can see what technique category you fall into, a technical category. And Hisoka has his own way of figuring that out, and it's more of a personality-based thing. So he explains that people like himself, like a transmuter, they're very fickle and kind of cheap, kind of dirty as far as things go. Just the quickest way to get through to things, whether it's the right way or not, doesn't matter. And Killua is in the stands, and he's like, oh yeah, that's spot on, And then he talks about how enhancers like Gon, they're very honest, they're very earnest, they're very sincere type people, and that's very much how Gon is. And he explains the other personality breakdowns as well. But the neat thing is at the end of it, he kind of gives almost like this warning to Gon. He's like, but remember that people like myself, transmuters, are very fickle. So what can be a treasure in one moment can turn to trash in the next. And what he's meaning by that is that I treasure this weird relationship that we have going now, where I'm allowing you to get stronger and come and fight me. But if I ever get bored with you, or you bore me and you don't impress me anymore, then you'll turn to trash in my eyes, and I could just kill you. And that's what I really got from it. You know what I mean? So maybe that wasn't exactly the deal, but that's what I got from it. So anyway, what I like though is at the beginning of it, it was kind of a cool nod to things. I'm not familiar with all of Togashi's work. I know that he obviously did Yu Yu Hakusho, and there's a few others that he's worked on. But I thought it was kind of cool because the announcer goes and announces about what, she doesn't understand why Gon was awarded 2 points for a critical hit. It doesn't even look like Hisoka's phased, right? And then all of a sudden, this long white-haired dude, this guy Prince Baka, who's actually, I wound up looking it up after the episode here, is from another one of Togashi's works, Level E. He just like appears in a poof out of nowhere, and he gives this great detailed explanation on the referee. Referees judge things based on, their own personal style and what have you. But what he believes is that he gave him the 2 points because even though there wasn't a lot of damage taken, it was for the creativity that he used in obviously going and pulling up the stone block, shattering it, and then being able to kind of come around and blindside him. So it was really awarded based on the amount of effort and the level of planning that went into that. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a straight up punch to the head. So it's kind of a neat little Easter egg, I guess, nod to one of his earlier works. And then he just like, just poof, disappears, and the announcer's like, what the hell? So this match rages on for a bit though, and really Gon, you can see he's outclassed and outmatched, especially once Hisoka starts moving. Once Hisoka starts moving, I mean, Gon is hardly even able to keep up with his speed to try to go and to get away from him, and he's kind of on the run, dodging, ducking, diving, and he's getting hit, he's getting beat all over the ring, and but ultimately it's a great match. I mean, anybody who thought that Gon was really going to beat this guy right now, to me that's just silly thinking, because of the fact that the levels, the gaps in power are still so far apart. But this was really to show Gon's growth. He started out down here, now he's here. And I really like that. And Hisoka's almost like in his own weird, perverted way, kind of being like his tutor. You know what I mean? His sort of ass backwards mentor. And I like things like that. I thought it was very cool. But Hisoka though, it winds up going into favor of, I think he's got, I think he winds up having 6 points. It's at 6.6-2 or something like that. And Hisoka goes and he's like, he winds up going and he winds up explaining to, or Gon winds up starting to use some of his nen to be able to actually go and see that aura, that the bungee gum that he has, and he sees that Hisoka has attached a bungee gum to his cheek, right? And Hisoka explains about how it cannot be broken by you, it can only be detached when I decide to detach it. So no matter how much you struggle, you're pretty much screwed right now. That was the bottom line of it, But he goes, I'll give you a free hit if you can answer a question. Gon's like, what? And Gon wouldn't want to take a free hit anyway, but, clearly he's outmatched. He's trying to think about what he can do right now. And he even says that at one point. He's like, shut up, I'm trying to think about how to go, but I'm brainstorming on how to attack you. But he goes and he says, he gives him an option, 1, 2, or 3, of when he actually attached the bungee gum to him. And it was during this elbow, during this uppercut, during whatever. And so Gon guesses 3, and he says, no. He says, that's incorrect. He says it was 4, which wasn't an option. He goes, it was when I did my personality analysis, and this was one of those cool things because they showed a quick little flashback to 2 minutes before, and as he went and kind of waved in generally at Gon to explain about his personality for his type, he attached the bungee gum to Gon's face. Now, if Gon, and then they wind up explaining that if Gon had been looking for that aura the entire time, he may have had a chance at being able to dodge it, but then it doesn't even matter. Wings in the crease, like, doesn't matter even if he did to try to defend the whole time, because even a blocked shot, even when you're blocked, most people release their aura, Hisoka explains, as they're attacking. So if he was landing hits on Gon, or even if Gon was blocking them, he could still attach a bungee gum to him. You know what I mean? Despite even if he was looking for it. And that's what I liked. Even if you're looking for it, there's nothing you could do about it, You have to find another way around this. And I like the clever way that everything is intricately woven with the fighting style. So it's awesome. It's second to none. I've never read or seen anything like that before in any medium, period. This really is. It's very neat. And each layer that we kind of keep peeling back of the onion, so to speak, reveals more and more to us, the viewer or the reader, So great stuff. Ultimately, at the end of the day, winds up being, though, that he answers the question incorrectly, of course. And then he goes and he uses the bungee gum to pull Gon towards him. And Gon goes and starts a flurry of blows. And I mean, he just... he's just putting him into Hisoka. And Hisoka's letting him hit him, though. You can just tell he's just toying with him, right? And then he goes and he winds up hitting him and then bringing him back in with the bungee gum to go and hit him again. Gon actually blocks it. And then as he kind of goes and flies back and lands on the ground and gets up or what have you, he's like, well, I'm getting used to this thing. The ref winds up awarding Hisoka a critical hit, which is 2 points, and a knockdown, which is another point. So now it's 9-4. And everybody's freaking and yelling in the crowd. You're like, that's bullshit, And even Gon protests. He's like, I blocked it. I never even went down, So anyway, nonetheless, he's like, man, one more hit and I'm dead and this, or I'm done and blah, blah, blah. And then Hisoka goes, he's like, look to your right. As Gon turns his face to his right, a piece of rubble from one of those broken tiles just blindsides him, right? And hits him. And what he did is Hisoka went, when Gon was arguing with the ref about the points, Hisoka went and attached the other end of the bungee gum to, one's to, obviously, onto Gon's cheek. The other one was to, a big chunk of that rubble, that concrete or what have you, a stone, whatever it is. And it was great because he just does it so effortlessly. And he's like a magician, so he's very good at disguising his movements. Magicians, it's really all based on, like, trickery. It's basically getting the eye to look this way while you do something over here. It's keeping people's eyes focused on what you want them to be focused on while you're doing other shit behind the scenes to make it appear that you're actually making this disappear, or whatever the case is. So it's very cool, his power coupled with the fact that he's this like magician, you know what I mean? So very, very cool. It's all about smoke and mirrors and trickery. Anyway, so he winds up, nailing Gon. Gon's got a big old welt on the side of his face. He got nailed. He loses 11-4. And what happens, though, at the end of it that I liked is Hisoka was like, listen, you've come a long way. You've gotten much better. Maybe 10 more matches, once you have 10 more wins under your belt, you may be able to actually defeat me in Heaven's Arena. He goes, however, I'm never going to fight you here again, So, and it's like, oh, thanks, buddy. He's like, the next time we fight, it's going to be me and you. It's going to be out in the real world, and it's going to be for life or death, So that was kind of cool, but kind of creepy at the same time, man. If I was going, because he was straight up afraid. He doesn't show a lot of, but you could tell he's just like, man, this guy's next level. So a very, very good episode, though. Very cool. We find out at the end of it, the episode winds up ending up shortly after that. We wind up going they're leaving Heaven's Arena. They kind of say goodbye to it. They say goodbye to Wing and Zushi, and thank them for their time and their help and everything else. And then they're going to go off, and Gon said that he was going to go back to Whale Island to visit his aunt, Mito-san. And Killer was like, hey, cool, I'll tag along. I like to meet her anyway. And Gon's like, okay. So apparently that's where they're going next. And then I believe that we're getting into that York New City arc. So very cool stuff. Awesome episode. Really between the last one and this one, I'm just absolutely floored by. I had to rewatch, parts and stuff like that. It was just so cool, and the animation was just so good. Everything was so fluid, and it just looked so spot on. Just absolutely perfect to me anyway. So just my 2 cents on that. My episode question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is what are your thoughts on Hisoka's powers? His powers and the way he can use and manipulate his aura and whatnot as this transmuter to be able to, with the bungee gum and just his style of fighting in general. What are your thoughts on it? Let's brainstorm a little bit and talk about some of the things now that we've seen a good amount of it, I would say, between the fights with Castro and then, of course, now Gon. I think that we've seen quite a bit of Hisoka's arsenal. Probably not all. I'm sure that he's still got some tricks up his sleeves, as all good magicians do. But ultimately, I'd like to know what your thoughts are on his powers that we've seen thus far. Leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching all of you hunters in the next Fun Nation.
Come follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and even my other channel.